Hello everyone, today I'm finishing testing Dirt franchise with the last game currently, and that is obviously Dirt 5. Now for the gameplay I will use career mode, and at the end of the video I will also launch benchmark mode, just for a quick reference if anyone is wondering how they are compared with their systems. Now in the meantime, I would like to talk about a little bit about this game, because I have quite a long history with Colin McRae or Dirt franchises. Now straight off the bat, I wanted to say that this game is just not good, and I would recommend buying it only if it's at around 15 to 20 bucks at the most. Also, this game is also available on Xbox Game Pass. You can get Game Pass first month for free, and you can try this game out. And if you want to buy it at Steam, I just think that it's not worth buying its full price, full stop, regardless of how you're going to play it. Now the first thing that caught my attention was terrible AI. The AI is programmed to be based on rubber band AI. And if you're not familiar with it, it's basically dynamic AI difficult, and it adapts to your speed and skill. So in the result of that, you are never awarded for playing well, and almost all the time your opponents will stick with you, no matter how well you try. And what's worse of that is that they don't apply the same physics as you, and it gets extremely annoying when you get overtaken by illogical speeds to their cars, or has completely different cornering speeds, and that's just frustrating. And so many times when I was playing this game, I was verbally even saying like, what the hell, how is this even possible, and it's just annoying for me. So the rubber band AI actually reminds me of early Need for Speed games. If you remember like Underground or Underground 2, you can look up in internet just for a few giggles. You can type for rubber band AI Need for Speed and you will see some of those. Also a few words about the performance. It seems it's a little bit on the more demanding side. If you look at the CPU utilization, it has a very strong single render thread, and that's not good. If you have a slower CPU or something like with more cores but they're weaker ones like 1st gen Ryzen or maybe AMD FX, I don't think it's going to perform well on those CPUs. And game VRAM usage is actually very high. You can see the total allocated VRAM is around 10 gigs. So yeah, this game seems like it's quite demanding, but the visuals don't really show that, at least in my opinion. So that's not a good look, I would say. Okay, so opponents are very inconsistent. The AI is terrible. What about driving physics? Well, it's kinda decent actually. But the worst thing about this is that most cars are really understeering. Like, you have to power slide to take a corner almost all the time. Also, what I noticed is that on some lighter cars, the suspension seems like very stiff, and it doesn't look natural when you're driving. But maybe I'm just nitpicking. Okay, so the driving is kinda okay. The rubber band is terrible. So what about the tracks? Well, tracks are actually pretty bad as well. All the tracks are pretty much very similar, and they are very wide, and there is not much of creativity there. Sure, there are few stages that are a little bit more interesting, but they are far in between, and in most cases you are basically racing simple circuit races in simple very wide tracks, and that's almost like 80% or 70% of your career mode, so it's not simply good enough, at least for me. Sure, there are few Gymkhana events, but they don't feel very fluid, if that makes sense. And in this game I actually avoid them. It's kinda interesting and funny, because I complain that tracks are all the same, but I avoid different tracks. But there's a reason, and that is simply that Gymkhana events are not good for me. At least they weren't fun. Also, if you are thinking getting this game for a steering wheel, just forget it. And this game is through and through is made for a controller. For a couple of months they even haven't any support for steering wheels, and later they added it on. So the controller it is for pretty much all players in this game. Now the graphics seems decent for the most part, but I would say that they are inconsistent. In some areas they look pretty good, and in others it's just kinda ugly, to be fair. So the graphics is mixed bag, at least in my opinion. The only redeeming feature of this game is split screen. It's kinda sad that most games doesn't include any split screen mode, but this game has it, so if you're looking for some couch gaming, you can try this game out. But again, don't pay full price for this one. So yeah, I had a lot to say about this game, but I cannot recommend it. And in fact I think it's one of the weakest Dirt games in this franchise, and I think Dirt 2 and Dirt 3 actually is so much better. And even I would say Dirt, Colin McRae Dirt, the first Dirt game, is better as well, even though it's dated a little bit at this point. It could compete with Dirt Showdown. They are kinda similar in gameplay and in arcade style, but I think even Dirt Showdown is better than this one. It's just a really mediocre game. And if you think otherwise, sure, feel free to leave comments below, and I'm always happy to discuss about it. So I'm finishing testing Dirt franchise on not a good note, I would say, but I hope they will manage to make it better next time. And also Dirt Rally franchise is actually very good. It's just since Dirt 3 it goes worse and worse every game, and it's really not good look. And yeah, I'm going to test other racing games that foreseeable future going to be gravel. I will also test a few Forza games as well. So yeah, plenty of racing games in the future, and for now that's pretty much it, and thank you for watching as always. See you next time.